Hello and welcome. I am Scarperlock, and this is City of Heroes. We are with Mr. Eclipse, our Dominator, who's level 40, and this, guys, will probably be the last episode that I shoot of this character. I actually have to do some work tonight, but so I can't have a huge amount of time, but I hope 30 to 40 minute episode, and this will probably be the final episode and the last you see of Mr. Eclipse. And in this episode, I'll talk about why I'm not going to film to level 50 with this character. I'm probably not going to get to level 50 with this character, and I'll talk about why, and we'll cover that as we go. Before we do, I just want to show you the enhancements and where we are right now with this character. We have it pretty well enhanced. I'm not even sure what I would do in the future. Level 41, I'm going to probably have to pick a pool power. I don't know what I'm going to come up with for that. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Maybe we'll try something different. Maybe the epic pools, maybe not. We'll see. But for right now, I don't think we have a story arc, unfortunately. Oh, we have. Yes, we do. We're doing the Malta group for Indigo, so you can at least see part of that. And let's get started. Going to Brickstown, and hopefully we'll do 2 missions today, and maybe more depending on how long these missions are. But some of them have been fairly long, so my guess is 1 to 2 missions. And this will be the last we see of Mr. Eclipse, and it may be the last video I shoot for a while. So let's talk about why that is and why we're coming to a series finale earlier than I promised. I do apologize for that, but only a little bit, because the reality is that hardly anybody's watching these videos, and nobody's really commented on any of them since before Thanksgiving, and it's now almost March. It'll be March in 2 days. And so I feel like if nobody's making any comments, then presumably people aren't really interested in what I have to say. And if nobody's watching, presumably people don't really want to watch. And, I've never been one to look a lot at the view count or the like count or any of that. But when you see that the videos are getting half the views they used to and half the likes they used to, and people don't really seem to be watching at all, the question I have to ask is, why should I keep making the videos, right? I mean, I'm not trying to get a big giant audience. I don't make clickbait titles and stuff. I don't really care about that. I was perfectly happy to have a small audience and sort of share the gameplay with you guys, but that means that we're sharing the gameplay, and if nobody's watching at all, then I'm just, whistling past the elevator, if you want to call it that, or whatever. And so one reason, it's not the only one, but one of the reasons why I've decided I probably don't want to keep doing this is it doesn't seem like anybody wants to watch it, and why keep using up hard drive space on YouTube and bandwidth and everything else to make videos that people aren't going to watch. I can record my gameplay and leave it on my hard drive without doing that, and I can also play a game without recording it much more easily and not have to deal with the whatever bit of brain power it takes to do the recording and narrating and the rest. So, I play other games. I've been playing Tennis Elbow 4 a lot. I actually started out recording that, and, seeing that nobody's really watching my channel anyway, I thought, why bother? So far in the past, what attempts I've made to try expanding my channel to other videos have not succeeded. When I did Satisfactory, I ended up with a bunch of people posting X-rated video links and website links that I had to take down, and I don't know why that was with Satisfactory. But I didn't get any additional interaction with the audience beyond that. And every other game I've tried to post, whether it's AO Tennis or American Truck Simulator or Power Wash Simulator or ARC, I've gotten fewer views, if not no views on those, so it doesn't seem to be something that my audience wants to watch. And in fact, most of the time when I post several of those videos in a row, I get people unsubscribing. Now again, I don't watch the subscriber count. I'm not trying... Let's hypnotize this guy before he kills me. At least we don't have toggles to worry about. I'm not one to watch and try to crank the view count or the subscriber count or anything like that, but if what I'm posting is going to make the people who were watching the channel stop watching it, then again, there's really not a lot of point to posting that stuff. So I've really had no reason to try to do any other games, and um, not really had any success with that. So it seems like this, channel is kind of COH or bust, and so far with this Dominator, the interest seems to have gone progressively down. And so, yeah, I don't see the point of continuing to make videos that people on the large in the main don't seem to want to watch. Like, what's the point of that? So one reason is that nobody really seems to be watching, so why keep doing it? Beyond that, I think the reality with this Dominator is that although he has really cool special effects and he's got some good abilities, frankly, I'm not enjoying it the way I enjoyed Plant Thorn, and definitely not enjoying it the way I enjoy a Scrapper or a Brute and or a Stalker. And I really find myself wishing that I could. Is he still attacking me? It didn't hypnotize him. I really find myself wishing that I could face some of these challenges with a Stalker or a Scrapper rather than. Come on, why am I not? Rather than with the Dominator. One of the things that really crystallized this to me, which I didn't get a chance to film because it was in between levels, is when I did the what's his name, Envoy of Shadows. I couldn't beat that guy. Now the Envoy of Shadows is tough as a Scrapper, and it's tough as a Brute, and it's tough as a Stalker, but it's doable on +0. For this guy, it was not. I had to put it on -1, level up to level 40 so that it was -2, and then I could do him barely. The problem is that when he's not -2 to me, the Envoy of Shadows could kill all 3 of my pets in like a couple of swings, and then it's just me, right? And he was completely and totally resistant to all my mez, even under domination. And so that meant that I had to just take his hits, and you can't um, as a Dominator. You don't have the hit points for it. You don't have any defenses. And so I'm sure if I concentrated on getting sets and all the rest of that, that I could, I could have survived more, easily, maybe beat him at +0 or even +1. But, there were 2 missions in that story arc where there were some missions where I could just teleport past him and ignore him, but there were 2 missions where you had to defeat him specifically. And I had to autocomplete one, and the other one I had to wait until I had outleveled it and then put it on -1 and then do it that way. And that's not an enjoyable way to run mission. I don't want to have to do that. I have to do that with a Scrapper or a Stalker. Now, some of that may just be me being an incompetent player of Dominators. I will cop to that. It's not my natural playstyle. But the other issue with this character is that I really actually hate most of his AoEs, and most of the stuff I like is single target. And so, like, these powers, and they're not doing much for me. Like, the Fearsome Stare doesn't automatically frighten everybody. It only maybe does. And this thing doesn't seem to hold anybody at all ever. I don't know what the purpose of this thing is. Oh, is AoE full hold? They don't get held. So if somebody can explain what this does, please let me know, because as a veteran COH player, I have no effing idea. It just doesn't do. It doesn't like it. If I throw it on 3 guys, it'll hold 1, maybe, maybe, and it won't hold them for very long. What are we doing here? Oh, there must be another section. We're still looking for Jim Bartlett. Now I love the AoE. I love the single target hold. I love these 3 powers: the single target hold, the AoE immobilize, which does good damage, and the possess. Those are great, but they're all single target. And if any of them misses, I die. And I just find that really frustrating, especially with all the miss chains I get with this guy. Like, I was watching up here, I had 75% chance to hit, and I missed miss in a row like that. Right? The chance of that happening is like 1 in 64. It happens too much. Right? That's the miss streaks. I have no idea where Jim Bartlett is. So I haven't had as much fun playing this character as I would have playing a melee character, or as much fun as I had playing my Plant Thorn Dominator. I'm not going to start a Dominator over again at this point. I'm not going to bother with that. Maybe he's over here. I'm just gonna make up a new scrapper or something and play that. That's my jam. That's my play style. That's what I like the most. Why can't I walk up this ladder? Okay. So the second reason that I'm stopping at level 40 is I don't know that I want to get this character to level 50. I mean, I had him on. I like literally. I put him on double XP just to get through the levels faster. Like I've never done that before with any character, right? I've always like if anything I stop the leveling, right? I turn off XP. Not only haven't I turned off XP with this guy, I tried to speed it up. So that tells me I'm not really enjoying the character. And so I'm not going to try to grind my way to level 50 just to say I did it. And I'm not going to record my way to level 50 just to say I did it and to keep my promise to get us to level 50 to a bunch of people who don't even seem to be watching anymore. Not trying to be bitter or whatever. I'm just saying like I can't see the point of forcing my way through it. This is supposed to be fun. And it's not been as fun as it could be. So that's another reason. And the third reason, I don't know if there's more than three, but a third reason is that, to be honest, I feel like I'm really reaching for things to talk about. I've tried doing some rants, and a couple of times now, I've done some rants, and I hated it. I did it at level 40. When we first got to level 40, I did a big long rant. And I listened to it back, and I said, this is terrible. I didn't like it at all. I rambled. I never really found, like, my thesis, what I was talking about. I knew what I wanted to say, and I couldn't get it out in a consistent, concise, clear way. I rambled. I also found that it was very repetitive of things that I've done before. That I was talking about before. It had a lot to do with how they don't want you to buy things anymore. Well, we've talked about that. I went and found the old videos, and I'm like, dude, I talked about this before, and I talked about them better. Why would I post that? It's actually, oh man, he aggroed this guy. I didn't want to aggro him. I wanted to get under domination. I'll let him deal with it, and I'll let my little other buddies deal with him for now. And I will attack these other guys until I can get domination up. It might take a while. Okay, so the wolf is dead. We have to resummon. Let's resummon it. I may die here. This is what I mean. Like, any little thing that goes wrong, and I'm dead. Yep. So I just find this character so much more frustrating than a scrapper. Now, this was partly my fault because I was talking and wandering around trying to find the hallway that I missed, that the domination ended, and I couldn't dominate the guy. But in addition to that, the stupid wolf aggroed. It's done that a couple times. Like, the dang thing, when I'm attacking something, won't aggro to it and just sits there and watches me. And then when I don't want it to attack, it attacks. I find that really frustrating. Masterminds are much more fun where you can actually control the pets. Not being able to control the pets is another frustration I have with this character. But in any case, back to discussing the topics, like, I really feel like I haven't had anything good to rant about for a long time, and I've been doing a lot of almost pseudo reruns where I'm talking about things that are pretty similar to things I've talked about before, which I suspect is a very big contributor to the fact that nobody's really watching, liking, and commenting on the videos, because you guys are like, well, we've seen this already, right? I don't blame you. I'm not able to come up with new stuff. Part of it is I'm not populating or inhabiting, whatever you want to call it, the spaces that were giving me ideas, right? I don't read Dungeons and Dragons Beyond. I don't read D&D and Beyond anymore. I haven't played D&D in a couple of years now. I don't watch Luke Hart every single week anymore because I'm not doing physical therapy anymore, and a lot of his stuff is about D&D and Pathfinder. And even Luke Hart's going into reruns, right? A lot of his stuff is just repetitive. It's stuff he's already talked about because there's just so much to talk about. I can't come up with something new every week, right? And neither can he. And so I feel like we've just beaten everything so to death, whether it's about GMs or players or player selfishness or any of that. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. I feel like I'm in, I'm out of ideas of what to kind of rant about. And I don't see the purpose of just talking directly about the game very much because we've played all of these missions before together, guys. There are hours and hours, days worth of video on this channel to demonstrate that. And I just don't see why. I just don't see what benefit either you guys as viewers or me as the creator are getting out of continuing with this. So I think this is our farewell episode of certainly of this character and probably of City of Heroes and maybe for the channel. For sure, I'm going to be taking a hiatus, and whether we go beyond that, whether I start up something again later, I don't know. Now, what I'm going to do here, let's put stealth on. I'm going to teleport up there. So what we got to do is we need to charge up Dominator, and we got to wait for our pets to come back, at least the big guy. The little guys are back. So what we're going to do is charge up on these guys. We should be safe with them. Right, yellow minions usually aren't a problem. It's the red bosses and those, you see the misses? Ugh. The red bosses and especially those Paradox Agent guys, like they're super accurate, they never miss, and they do a lot of damage, and even my scrappers and tanks have trouble with them. Now, we've completed the mission, but... Oh, darn it! I was going to say we're not going to hit the mission complete button, and I clicked on it. I'm an idiot. Sorry, guys. I was going to say we're going to turn around and fight the Paradox Agent, and then we're not going to click on... I was going to hover over and say we're not going to click on this, and then my finger just... I'm so used to clicking. Alright, so we absolutely have to do another mission now, because that was boring. So let's try another one. And we're going to teleport to Atlas Park. Again, I got to keep my eye on the clock. I've got about 20 minutes left before I've got to run my night session for my biology class. And we're having a review. I don't know if anybody's going to show up to it. They're doing a quiz. They always do a quiz every Thursday night, but then we're having a review session. If they wish, it's optional. They can come in to a Zoom and we can review for the exam they have next week. But I don't expect many of them to show up. We'll see. Now, one of the students keeps trying to send a recorder bot to log into the session and record the sessions. And I'm like, the sessions are just there for me to answer individual questions of individual students. There's really no point to recording those sessions. But you certainly can't just send bots into a session. So I made an announcement that said, guys, don't send bots. I'm not going to let them in. I'm going to reject them. So we'll see what happens. But that's generally been the only one that tries to log in to the sessions. Alright, so we got another boss, and I'm not going to be able to dominate again. So we'll see what we can do with it. At least this guy didn't aggro me right away. And let's see if we can charm that guy and let him attack. Whoa! Oh, he teleported over. There we go. We got him held. So that might help me survive. And we got the other guy helping fight him. So that's good. So you see, he's purple. He's even worse than the other boss. But I didn't get... This stupid wolf didn't aggro him and start getting me attacked before I was ready for it. So then, anyway, those are 3 reasons. There is actually a 4th reason why I wanted to stop worrying about making these videos, and that is that, as I probably mentioned in a previous video, I think so, I'm toying with getting a PlayStation 5. Now, there's a little bit of a complication with that I may talk about, but PlayStation 5 is, you can technically record videos on it, but it's not something I'm going to try to record videos on. I'm going to have it downstairs in my living room attached to my television, which is part of the complication, and I'm going to be playing games that have nothing to do with City of Heroes, which we know historically on this channel haven't really fared well with the audience anyway. So unless you guys really wanted to watch me play something like College Football 25 or Major League Baseball or something, which are the first likely games I'm going to get, yeah, there's no reason to do that. And I'm going to be probably spending a lot more of my time playing the PlayStation than playing my PC. Now the wrinkle with this well, I don't know whether you guys care or not, but the wrinkle with this is that I've been having a lot of trouble with that TV. It's a Sony Bravia. I've got a Sony Blu-ray player attached, and the TV's been awesome. It's about 7 years old now. My gosh, it's hard to believe, but yeah, I think 2018 or 19 I bought it. So I don't know. It's 5, 6, 7 years old. It's been great. It's been a perfect TV. The Blu-ray player has been great. All of a sudden now, the Blu-ray player, sometimes when I turn the TV on, the TV's fine. You can hear sound while I'm, running stuff through the TV. But the Blu-ray player, it doesn't want to put sound out to the TV. Now I have an external speaker, but there's no sound coming through at all. It's just silent. And I tried a bunch of different settings. Nothing worked. The only thing that seems to work is if I turn the TV, unplug the TV and the Blu-ray player, leave them off for at least a couple minutes, and then plug them back in. They do seem to then sort of reset. And, factory reset doesn't do it. None of the other stuff does it. But that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Now, my first thought is that's the Blu-ray player. The Blu-ray player is clearly not as high a quality device as the TV. I think that's been clear since I bought it. There have been occasional minor issues with the Blu-ray player. So I thought, it's just the Blu-ray player. That wouldn't be surprising. If so, I don't really care because that has nothing to do with a PlayStation, right? But then I also have a Roku. Now the TV has apps that it can run, like Fandango, what used to be Vudu, Fandango, Movies at Home, right? Whatever they call it, where you can watch the movies you've bought in an app. And the Roku will show it, but you can also do it directly through the TV. So I use the TV, but the Vudu app on the TV is inferior to the Vudu app on the Roku, and sometimes it just won't play. It freezes or whatever. And I know it's not the internet, right? Because that same TV I can turn on YouTube and play this YouTube video, no problem, right? I watch YouTube on that TV all the time. It can download the YouTube videos and play them full speed, high def, no problem at all. It's clearly, so it's not the internet, because if I turn the Roku Vudu app on, or Fandango, the Roku will play it fine. And so I was like, okay, well, if it's not, I was having trouble with the Vudu app on the TV, so I said, all right, well, if it's not, I'll just use the Roku. So I plugged the Roku in, got that going, and I couldn't get sound out of the Roku either. The TV had sound coming from its own apps, but not only wasn't it playing sound from the Blu-ray player, but now it's not playing sound from the Roku. So one of my concerns is there's something wrong with the TV. I have to keep unplugging it and plug it back in to get the sound to work. And so if it's the TV, my concern is I don't want to buy a PlayStation and find out I can't get any sound out of the dang TV. Right? That's no good. I want sound out of my video games. So we'll see what happens. I don't know for sure if I'm getting a PlayStation. We'll see. But in any case, that's another potential reason why it may be time to stop. And it's because I'm probably going to be switching over to playing games more on the PS than on the computer. So we'll see what happens, but my intention at this point is that this will be the final video, and this is probably the final mission, since it looks like it's going to be a fairly long one. And hopefully I'll be able to finish it, but I am against a hard deadline of about 22 minutes from now, when I'm going to have to log out so that I can run my Zoom session for my class. But we'll try to finish. I don't want to rush it, because that's a good way to get killed, and getting killed is just going to make it take longer, but we'll do the best we can. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed all the videos, whether it's Dominator or the other types of videos I've had. I hope you've learned a lot. I know I've learned a lot from sort of back and forth in the comments, and I've learned a lot just by doing this. It's been a fun journey, but I've been doing this for it's been just about 6 years now, and it's probably time to move on. Yeah, I mean, it happens, right? Lots of, I was thinking about this the other day, thinking about whether I might stop, and looking at what YouTube channels I watch today. compared to the YouTube channels I used to watch, say, when I first started making mine, and I don't think there is a single channel left that's on my watch list. I still subscribe to some of them, but then don't end up. Some of them don't post anymore. Some of them I'm not interested in anymore. There are some reaction channels I used to watch where people are reacting to like, and they start out reacting to watching movies. And okay, that's kind of cool, and I'll watch them reacting to movies that I like, and I'll ignore the stuff if they're reacting to movies I'm not interested in. But almost every one of these reaction channels, I guess because they start running out of movies that they haven't seen, they start reacting to TV shows, right? Like The Sopranos or something. And inevitably, they choose a TV show that I don't like or never watched and had no interest in. And now they're just posting weekly updates, weekly videos for maybe years of a show that I don't want to watch them watch, you know. And so then I end up, after not watching them for a while and realizing I haven't watched this channel in a year, then I just unsubscribe to it or take it off my bookmarks or what have you. And so I realized that, I used to watch a lot of Arumba's stuff. And then I don't know what he's doing now, but he got into a tiff with Paradox, which was the game company whose games he generally played, and he stopped playing their stuff. And the other stuff he was doing just wasn't of interest to me, which is why I totally sympathize and understand if people don't like watching the other videos that I post, right? He was posting Hearthstone, I think, and some other stuff, and these just weren't. I was watching him to watch how he played Paradox games and learn how to play them better. And, so he made content I wasn't that interested in, and I stopped watching that. And there are lots of other channels where this has happened, and sometimes they just stop making stuff at all, and then I realize, okay, I haven't seen anything new on this channel in a year. I guess it's time for me to stop subscribing to it. Now, I mean, there are other channels that are making great stuff and I haven't had time to watch, like Me, Myself, and Die, which is still awesome, and I do want to get into his current or most recent campaign, which I have not had time to watch because I've been doing other things. Partially like making videos on this channel. So now what I can do is I don't have to worry about feeling like I'm obligated to make videos on this channel. I can just, watch Me, Myself, and Die instead. So in case you're wondering why I'm running around here, for some reason those robot corpses, after they're down, they block your, there's like a hitbox or something and they block your movement. He'll eventually vanish, but I just figured we can just wander around. And I'm trying not to go too far into the room because the wolf will follow me, and then he will block my ability like this to exit, and he's a pain in the neck. And unlike the mastermind, I can't control where he moves to get him out of the friggin' way. And one of the things I have to remember to do is go downstairs, because otherwise we're going to miss what's down in that open area. I probably do stupid things with domination in that I keep holding it until I need it, and half the time I don't need it at all in the mission, and then I don't use it. And I could have probably used it 3 times already in this mission. I have to say, with my Planthorn Dominator, my gosh, I miss Seeds of Confusion. That thing saved my butt so many times. I'll never forget, there's some mission where you get repeatedly ambushed on a ship in, I don't know, it's Striga Island or one of these other places, and so I did that with, I remember if it was a tanker or a brute, and I got absolutely owned. But the first time I did it with my Planthorn Dominator, and I had no trouble with it at all. And I'm like, why did my Dominator survive this with no problem? I remember what level she was, 28, 30, I can't remember. How come my Dominator solved this mission with no problem, like none? I owned that mission, and my brute or stalker or whatever it was just getting butchered. And that's not normally what happens. Normally, if I can handle something with anything, it will be a brute or a scrapper. Sometimes stalker depends on whether, whether the stalking is possible. If you can't do the big crit hit at the beginning, sometimes it becomes like something you can't do. It just all depends with a stalker, but with a scrapper, usually no problem at all. And what I realized was the reason that that happened is that my plant thorn dominator was able to use Seeds of Confusion. And so what happens is this whole mob of enemies attacks you, right? And there are like 15 of them come at you at once. And so all I did was targeted one of them at one side of the mob, right, the closest one. I just did alt target, targeted the nearest one, teleported to the opposite side of the mob, and while I was teleporting, hit the AoE Seeds of Confusion. It spun my character around. Seeds of Confusion come out in a cone, and almost every single one of them just started attacking each other. And then I could just throw AoEs on them, and they just all died. They just melted. And that is such a powerful ability. And yeah, if you're only doing single target attacks and you're being surrounded by those guys, it's really, really hard to defeat that mission. And so I got creamed as, I think, a brute. Might have been with Liberty Lass, I can't remember. I got creamed as a brute. I was like, but I did this with the Plant Thorn Dominator. Why was this so hard? And it was because the Plant Thorn Dominator could mind control the entire group, pretty much, and basically force them to fight each other. So I do love Dominators as a concept. I just feel like this character, the abilities they gave it are not well suited to my playstyle. I think the secondary is great. That's generally pretty good. But I feel like the primary, the best powers to me seem to be single target. And I think you just need a little bit more AoE juice than what they give you in this character. And too many of the AoE powers are only partial holds, like the immobilize. Well, everybody's got the AoE immobilize, but like the fear just doesn't seem to work very often, right? I'll hit, and only one of them seems to get frightened. And the wolf's fear seems to hit pretty well. So I was going to enhance possibly that. I hear a glowy. What did I miss? I was going to possibly enhance that. But I feel like the AoE fear, it's just so sporadic whether it actually seems to do any good or not. Now it probably does debuff the enemies a bit, but again, I just feel like it's so sporadic and unreliable. I would rather just click them individually and do the holds that are going to work. And anytime something doesn't work with this character, as you've seen, it's like you're going to die. Let's go ahead and dominate this guy. Might as well. I should be able to get the domination back pretty quickly. There's another hostage up top. There's 2 more hostages up top. Okay. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed all of the videos, and if you like them, you can always go watch them. They'll stay up. I'm not taking them down or anything. And I want to say thanks to everybody who, over the years, has watched, has commented, has been supportive of my videos on the channel and what we're doing here. I appreciate each and every comment that was made, except the ones that were made on the Satisfactory videos about X-rated stuff. Those I don't appreciate, but nobody on my channel really did that. Those were people who came in, like, they just sort of parachuted in and made these weird posts advertising X-rated crap and then parachuted out, and I never saw them again. So I don't know what encouraged that, and I don't know why that was connected with Satisfactory. It's super bizarre because Satisfactory is a building game. It's not like it was some sort of an X-rated game that I was playing, you know. So I don't know what the story was with that, but with the exception of those comments, and there were only 3 or 4 of those, um, I've had only amazing commenters. Everybody's been polite. Everybody's been thoughtful. Everybody's been um, very positive, and I've appreciated all of that. And so I want to thank every single person who's made comments, every single person who's watched and liked videos. I do appreciate it very much. I know that our time, everybody's time, is valuable and limited, and I appreciate that you took a limited, you know, an hour or 15 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever of your time to watch me play this old expired game, City of Heroes, that's, you know, just on private servers now. I really do appreciate it, and I want to say thanks to everyone who participated in the videos on this channel. Without an audience that was interacting with me, I wouldn't have done as many videos as I did. My goal, as I said when I very first started this channel, beyond anything else, was to create Let's Plays that I could save for myself so that if, or perhaps when, am I going to not be able to finish the last mission we're doing together? If and when we got to a point where City of Heroes went away again, which someday we certainly will, there would be a bunch of videos that I have made that I would be able to watch, and even if I can't play it, I can watch myself play it and re-experience what is probably my favorite, certainly my favorite MMO and one of my favorite video games that I've ever played. So that goal, it was accomplished by the time I was done with Silver Phoenix. Okay? And the only reason to keep doing it was that people were watching. Oh, I didn't go downstairs. I said to myself I'm going to go downstairs, and then I didn't. That's probably where the last hostage is. People were watching. People were very gracious. People made great comments, and that encouraged me to continue what I was doing way beyond what I originally intended, which was just to make videos until I got to the end of the scrapper, right? That's all I was planning to do. And having done so, if I hadn't been getting any comments or feedback or whatever, I just would have stopped. And I got tons of great comments and tons of great feedback. And then we started doing rants and stuff, and people seemed to enjoy that. And what had started out as maybe the equivalent of a 1-year project turned into something that lasted for more than half a decade. And really, that's all thanks to the very small but really great audience that I've had on this channel. So I do want to say thanks to everybody. And I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope people aren't too disappointed. I'm going to go downstairs and take a look around, but guys, I can't wander through this whole mission to find the last hostage. I have to start my class in about 7 minutes, so I don't know where this other hostage is. I don't understand why it ever occurred to the developers to put a little asterisk on the last hostage. It's almost like they wanted it to be impossible and annoying, and that's really unfortunate. But I'm going to tab target around here and see if I can find, oh, maybe sometimes over here there's somebody. No. Sometimes in the little corners there's somebody. But I think I looked all around here, didn't I? Yeah, sometimes up on these balconies there's somebody, but there isn't right now, and I think we're going to have no choice but to go outside, call our contact, and complete this mission automatically. I apologize that we had to do this. The first mission I accidentally clicked on it, and we didn't get to beat the boss. In this mission, there hasn't really been a boss. I'm sure there was a boss in there somewhere, but guys, I got to go get my class started in a few minutes, so we got to stop. So I apologize for not finishing that mission, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly have enjoyed all of my time with you guys. Let's go ahead and auto-complete the mission. That's the end of that. And until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock. And, well, actually, not until next time. right? Let's get away from these silly guys. Um, so it's not until next time. So let's just take a final look at our character, and I'll just make a final comment. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming along for the ride. I hope you've enjoyed, and I wish all of you the best in your future endeavors. I I don't know that I'll make any more posts of any other videos to this channel. Um, so you can keep an eye on it. Maybe someday I'll think of something, but probably not. I've had some ideas, several bunch of different ideas that are going to require like video equipment and better microphones and stuff. I was thinking of doing like role-playing game reviews, but then I'd have to show the materials and everything, and I don't know. I just don't feel like that's something I want to invest in at this point. So my guess is this is the end of not just this series, but probably of me posting for probably a good long while, maybe forever in YouTube. So I just want to thank everybody and wish everybody all the best and wish you all the possible joy and happiness you can have in the year 2025 and in the years to come. And feel free to leave comments. I will continue watching them and I will answer if anybody leaves a comment. And until we meet again, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.